Hi everybody, it's Christina from Adventures in Polish Land, and happy Friday to you. Today I will do a reading update. I wanted to recommend a booktuber, and then I want your recommendations for me for next year. So let's jump right in. The last time we spoke, I was reading The Door by Magda, Szabo, and I finished that this morning. But before I did that, I took a break over the weekend and I read Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. This is a graphic memoir, and I wanted to start off Nonfiction November by reading a nonfiction book. So I started this on Saturday, finished it on Sunday, and this is a really interesting book. I'm still thinking about it and processing my thoughts on the book. I have to say, this is one of those books where I finish it and I think, what exactly was the point of that? And I am still struggling to put that into words, so I will talk about that more in my reading wrap up. But I am really glad that I read it because I am seeing the musical later this month in Boston, so I wanted to have some background knowledge about what to expect at that show. But that being said, I did go back to The Door by Magda, Szabo. This took me quite a while to read, but it was well worth it. It was one of those books that, even though it was very, very slow paced, I was very intrigued the entire time. So it was worth it for me to spend my valuable reading resources and devote the extra time to this book. I finished it this morning, and it just felt really exciting to finish it because I have been reading it for such a long time. But at lunch today, I began The Glass Castle by Jeanette, and this is also a memoir, also for Nonfiction November. So I feel like I'm back in a good reading groove. I've finished 2 books so far this month, and a third is on the way, and I'm already 32 pages into this in one sitting, so that's pretty good for me. I am not a very fast reader, so especially with nonfiction, I can sometimes be a little slow, but hopefully, because that is a memoir, it won't take me quite as long. In these Friday Reads videos, one thing that I would like to do is mention other booktubers that I am watching and enjoying, and this week I wanted to shout out Russell from Ink and Paper blog because he recently came back to Booktube after being away for a little bit, so I will leave his channel linked in the description box below. I really enjoy his videos because he and I have similar reading tastes, and I actually remember a long time ago when I first started watching his videos, he talked about how he enjoyed books with spinster characters, and recently this year I have been getting into those, so I think I'm going to have to go back in time on his channel and see if he has any videos dedicated to spinster books specifically, because I'm just really enjoying books right now where you're following an older woman character who is reflecting back on her life. Maybe that's a sign that I am just getting older, but I've really been enjoying that, and I think if you like the books that I read, you will probably like his channel as well. So go over there and say hi and follow him if you are not doing so already. And then finally, I want to ask you for your book recommendations. So I have mentioned this before on my channel, but one of my goals for next year is I want to read a book set in every single US state and territory. And so I have gone through all of the books that I save on my library account as books I want to read, and I have written down the setting for all of them. I also have some ebooks that I went through and I wrote down the setting for those, and then I asked on my personal Facebook page if people had recommendations, but I am still missing a lot of states. So what I am asking of you is, if you have some books that you really enjoy, they don't have to be anything specific, but what I would ask is, in the comments, please let me know the title of the book, the author, and then what state or territory the book is set in. And next year, what I plan on doing is every month I am going to pick 5 states out of a jar, and then I'm going to consult my list of all the books that I have pre-planned to read, and I will get them from the library if they're available there, or I will buy them pre-owned, of course. But if you recommend a book to me, I will write down your name, and so if I end up reading a book you recommended, I will give you a shout out in the video if you want. If you don't want to be shouted out, you can let me know. But I think this will be a really fun reading project for next year, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm hoping to prepare in advance as much as possible so that way I can be successful in this challenge. So again, let me know any book recommendations you have, the title, the author, and what state or U.S. territory the book is set in. And bonus points if they're smaller states that you don't necessarily hear about a lot, because I have noticed this year that I read a bunch of books set in New York, specifically New York City. That is just a very popular city for literature. I've read a handful of books in Massachusetts, a handful in California. So I definitely want to expand my horizons and read more across the whole country. And that will be a really exciting way to read some different books than I normally do next year. So that is it for this Friday Reads video, quick and sweet. I hope you all are having a great time. If you're participating in Nonfiction November, let me know what you're reading. I think I only have memoirs to read this month, but I might branch out. We will see. Otherwise, I'm going to be focusing on getting my physical TBR down by the end of the year. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.